welcome back to Her Restored Spirit podcast. My name is Tammy. I'm really excited because I only have a few more weeks where I'm going to say welcome to Her Restored Spirit podcast, because the podcast, as well as my coaching is it's kind of getting an overhaul a little bit. I've been working for the past 3 months to rewrite and just get like a refresh, like a rebrand, what do I stand for? And it got me thinking. We're all entering a new year, right? I don't know about you, but for me, even my planners, it's a lot easier for me if my new year starts in July versus January. My new year kind of starts with the new school year, because that's when the schedule happens again. That's when the big shift, because this fall does not look like last fall. And I need to know what's happening this fall and the spring versus needing to know, like, it's easier for me. I don't know if it's like that for you. I would love to know, but it's easier for me to have the school year as my calendar instead of the calendar year, because I don't really need to know right now what's happening in next July. I need to know what's happening this July and this January. You know what I'm saying? But I was thinking about this refresh and rebrand, and I've been working on really getting clear. I'm super excited about the changes, and it's been heading this direction. These are not like, it's not going to be like, oh, Tammy stands for something completely different. But what it is going to do is be a little bit more bold about what I do stand for. And I was thinking about that as you enter a new year. How can you be bold about the things you stand for? And what better time when you are, you set the tone for your family. You set the tone, the intention, the feeling, the experience, the peace for your family. Am I right? Like, that's what we do as moms, is we set the tone, whether it's intentional or haphazard, whether we're just surviving or it's planned out. Either way, it's up to us, and we accept it willingly. And it's just sometimes easier. But I went through this process of really looking and getting clear and getting quiet. And it's like, okay, what do I want people to know when they listen to my podcast? What I want you to know, because you're the one listening. You're the one who has messaged me and said, hey, Tammy, this episode really spoke to me. And I am so thankful for that. Like, send me a DM and tell me if there's a topic that you want more information of, because I don't create this for myself. I create it because we have an impact. And that impact makes an impact. And that impact, it's a ripple effect. And so I wanted to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year as we step into July. It's August now. Let's face it. It's August. And school has started for many people. My kids' school technically starts tomorrow. They're still at camp. That's one of the joys of homeschooling, is we get to kind of flex a little bit. And if we don't become intentional, and if we don't take the time to plan intentional, we're going to feel like it's haphazard again. We're going to feel busy. We're going to feel like this year is going by so fast. So fast. So what can we do today? If we had like 10 minutes, like more would be better, but let's be real here. Okay. So with your kids just started school, or they're about to go back to school in the next month, what could you do if you had 10 minutes to really make a difference for this year? And if you want, a lot of times even this year, it seems kind of too daunting. So how about this semester? How about the rest of until Christmas? Or if you're in a quarter system for the school, this quarter, but give yourself a timeline. Like, what do I want to do? And I'm choosing this quarter, or excuse me, this semester. So this 15 weeks until we are, I don't know how many weeks it is till Christmas. I haven't done that. I know there's 15 weeks of this program. So for school. So what do I want my intention to be? What do I want the rebrand or the refresh for this year at the end of the year? So let's envision that it is, let's see, let's just say December 21st. I'm not looking at the calendar, so I don't know what day is the Friday or the Wednesday or whatever that day that people get out of school. But let's look back. So it's December 21st. We're heading into Christmas. We just finished a very hectic and full fall. We're heading into winter and Christmas break and having that. But if we only look to the breaks, if we're always searching like, oh, when I get to Christmas, then, or next year, I will set this intention. We won't do it. So let's sit down for a moment and envision. It is December 21st, and we are looking back at this year, at this semester, this quarter, this time frame. What do we want to say about it? Now, I have noticed a few things in my kids. That one thing is my son, who is 15, and he's getting ready to start driving. He's in 10th grade. He is starting to feel the weight of responsibility. Not unwarranted, also not a bad thing. But I don't want him to fear it. I don't want him to keep making choices that avoid it so he doesn't have to deal with it. So my intention for him is to let him see that as responsibility grows, so does freedom, so do choices, so does he gets to do more things that he likes to do when you take responsibility. So how do I put that into action, right? If that's what I want to say, I want to say that he is stepping more into responsibility. I want to say that I intentionally helped him choose the responsible option or the growth option. Let's say the growth option, because 15, I don't want to put too much pressure on him. But choosing to grow is a thing, because you can stay. You have kids who are 23 or 30, kids in parentheses, or not parentheses, air quotes, who still live with their parents who are not growing. So growth is the choice. So it's like, okay, so now I want to set the intention. And for my daughter, it's also her growth opportunity is to become more organized. She is so future focused that she is not aware of what she's doing in the current moment. She could be working on a craft project, get another brilliant idea, drop the craft project, go start another one, and then start another one, or start another project, or another assignment, or even another chore. Like she'll be washing dishes and see that there's still, the table needs to be cleaned off, and she'll stop and go do that. So finishing and staying focused. So her growth opportunity is to really stay focused on the task that she's in. So if I set that as my intention, that I want them to grow in those two areas, is I want them to help them make choices intentionally, and I want them to stay present. Now, all of a sudden, my boundaries, my values, the way I structure this semester gives me that freedom to say, okay, will it get me closer to this, or will it take me further away? Will I help the kids, or will I hinder their progress? Also, we can take our own needs into account, because if my daughter would finish a job and finish a project, then and clean it up after she's done and move on, the house would be more peaceful. If my son would embrace the responsibility and getting older and maturity, if he would start embracing these things and not be afraid of them, then I can help him grow, but I can also give him more freedoms, right? So this is where, so this intention, this taking this some time to actually consider this process will help you not be so busy. Because now that I know that that's my intention, I can build our life around that. I can build our life around, okay, we want to go camping this fall. How can I encourage Isaac to take a step in planning it? Projects that are coming, how can I help him embrace the what he doesn't know and learn to ask questions? Because that's also a sign of maturity. How can I help my daughter finish and stay focused on the present moment? And then the creativity and the freedom that I get from that. Because now it's not everything is my responsibility. I don't have to do all the things. And still you may, like, there's still lots of things to do. So when you start looking at, okay, the growth, what do you want to be able to say at the end of the semester, right? At the December 21st, what do you want to be able to say? And you start building that. The next step is to like write down all the things that you have coming up. How do you want to connect with the kids? How do you want to serve in all their activities and sports and school and church and clubs and all the things that they have going on, the music, the arts, everything that helps them have their best life. Where do you want to serve? Where do you need to serve? Let's start with where I should be a part of their classroom. Okay. I need to be on I need to volunteer for their club sports. What do you need to do? What should you be doing? Write it all down. Put it all down on there, like all the big things that are coming up. Get it a good picture. And then ask yourself, what really do you want to do from that? What aligns with when you look at all the booster club and church activities and all the sports and classroom activities, what part in there really aligns with what you're good at? What brings you life? What brings you energy by doing? And what steals your energy? Like working in the classroom, I loved doing the grading and paperwork growing up, helping the teachers with all of that stuff. Sitting and working one-on-one with the kids was not a gifting of mine. As a single parent, I do that all the time. And so now serving in that capacity, and it took me a little while to really express that. And I felt guilty. Then I was like, I should be good at this. It's like, well, no, but there's other ways I can help. You don't have to do it all those things on your list of things that you should and need. Girl, give yourself some grace. Pick one or maybe two in each of the categories and okay, church, this is how I want to help. You know what? I will help by coming once a month and doing XYZ. Or clubs, I will make sure my kids get there on time this year. Or I will help support the leader of the club. I'll bring the coffee because I'm really grateful for what they are doing. For sports, recognizing that, okay, I can either be the timekeeper or scorekeeper, or I can work in the concession stand, but I don't need to do both. Give yourself some grace. Know that you don't get a medal by helping the most and being the most exhausted. And if my intention is something specific, right? If my intention is to help the growth of my kids, if it doesn't directly affect that, then I say no. Now I know that there's requirements, but there's also ways to say, okay, hey, this is one of my giftings. I will bring all of the snacks. I'll bring all of the oranges if you let someone else do the bookkeeping, because that's not a gifting of mine and it stresses me out. Doing the timekeeper for basketball stresses me out. but I will make sure that all of the IDs and all of the birth certificates are for, like there's things that I can do. Um, when you're looking at meal prepping and meal planning that you want to do, like look at like what changes will make things easy for you. Make small changes for it. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything. And it's actually impossible because really, if you sat down and you made the list of all the things that you need to do, I have a feeling that you were just exhausted looking at the list. When I made my list, I was exhausted looking at it. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be such a busy year. And then I started like, you know what? I don't have to do that because I know so and so takes care of that. I can support this person in doing this. I don't have to do that. Or, hey, I can partner with somebody. You start getting visual, you look around and you decide what's yours and what's not. Don't try to do everything. I guarantee that the intention you want for the year is not, I would be so busy that the year goes by so fast that I don't remember anything or I don't connect with my kids at all. But if you try to do everything, that's what's going to happen. And that's haphazard. That's not intentional. And that's not going to get you the life of joy that you're looking for. That's not going to give you a relationship with your kids that you're looking for. That's not going to give you the relationship with your spouse or your partner that you're looking for. So, what intention do you want to hold? And then build your boundaries, build your to-do list around that this semester. I encourage you to try it. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's going to make it so you have to say no more often than you used to, or get creative with, I can't do that, but I can do this. This is what I have to offer. And I'm not saying to cut everyone down and not serve at all, because let's face it, like serving is something we're supposed to be doing, right? We're supposed to make an impact. But your impact is stronger when it's intentional and not just like, oh, yes, I can do that. Oh, yes, I can do that. Oh, yes, I can do that. By saying no, allow someone else to step into their gifting. By saying yes, allow someone else to say no to something that's not in their gifting. So it's a collaborative thing. This year with helping with the kids class, I was like, I would like to know all of the areas that you need help so I can see what's best for like the co-op, our weekly co-op. So I can see what's best for me to help with. I was like, and it's not that I want something that's the easiest, but I do want it to be where can my unique talents and strengths be used most effectively? Where can I help that others may not be able to? And when I started peeling things back that way, because my son is going into 10th grade, my daughter's going into 8th grade. It is not lost on me. This whole, like, I have 2 summers left with my son. Like, it hit me differently this year. Stepping back and recognizing, okay, what would benefit them? What do I need them to know this year? What do I need them to walk away with? Because we know what our kids like, we know what their strengths, we know what their weaknesses. And I will also encourage you that strengthening and pouring into their strengths as an intention, it will not be wasted. A lot of times we focus on their weaknesses and try to help them. Again, Isaac's kind of avoiding growing up a little bit. It's kind of like knocked him out a little bit. He's recognizing the gravity of getting behind the wheel and different things. But his strength is he's incredibly logical. So if I pour in and show him how he's going to be a good driver, how he thinks things through, and how he's been technically driving for a while, just not on the road. Like he's done dirt bikes, he's done we talk about the rules of the road as we drive, like who has right away here. So there's been things I was like, so his strength is that logical mind. So if I help him see that, then his growth is accentuated. expounded, like exponential. It's exponential growth. Whereas if I focus on the things that he is not so good at, then it's a different experience. So, I mean, we do have to give them skills to compensate for their weaknesses, but if we pour into their strengths. So that's what my intention is for the year. And I got all this from when I was working on my, like, focusing on my, what do I want Tammy Marie coaching? How do I want to serve you? And how do my strengths serve you best? Because there's a lot of things I could do, but just because I can doesn't mean I should. Just because I can talk about it, or just because I know a lot about it, is it a strength of mine? Is it an area that God's asked me to pour into? You see how that can relate to kids as well? Just because there's a lot of things, there's so many things. And oh my goodness, it's overwhelming sometimes about all the things that we want our kids to know. But if we focus on who they're being, the skills that they're learning, the what we can have them walk away with, if we're intentional about one or two things, we're a lot more successful. The next semester, I can do this again. So for the, January, for the spring semester, I can ask myself again, okay, what went right? What were my opportunities for growth? Where could have I shown up better? And then where have they grown? And where do I pour on more water and like allow it to bloom? Or where do I pull the weeds and shift? But when we take 10, 15 minutes and we really set an intention for this year, we set an intention for this specific season or amount of time, we can actually have more growth than we've ever seen. We can have a more joyful life. We can be less numb because we're not doing all the things and we're not just doing what's expected of us. We're actually doing things that are intentional. And so the word of the day is intentional. But so many times expectations get the best of us. We allow the expectations and patterns get the best of us. And if you want to change that, you have to change it. You don't have to make big changes, but just even shifting your focus, shifting your intention, shifting what you look for and pour into will help you have a whole different experience at home. It will, and well, I can expand on this longer. We can do that in another podcast, but I really want you to just take some time today and think about this school semester, this between now and December 21st, or whenever your Christmas break begins, whenever the school semester ends. There we go. And think about, what do I want to say about it? And when you do that, it helps you see what's for you and what's not for you. It helps you focus on what's the most important to you, which is your family. As much as working at the school and the sports and clubs and church and everything is important, the most impact you'll have is with the people in your home. And so if you're helping intentionally pour into them and showing them how not everything is for them either, being like, you know what, that's not our intention for this. We're not going to focus on that this year. So let's do something different. Let's look at what we can. Like if we want to connect more, if I want to build my relationship with my child, with my teenager this semester, how can I best do that with that kid? Because let's face it, every kid is different. Every teenager is different. And we can't it's not even about us. It's how do we pour into them? Like, what are their likes? What can I learn about their likes? But again, if it's not done intentionally, you're going to get to the December 21st. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be busy. You're going to be like most of the world saying, wow, time is going by so fast and I didn't even get to experience anything. Like I feel like it's just flying by and I don't live my own life. I feel like I'm just always on the go or in like a scarcity mode or um, always in triage mode, like just trying to make things happen and push things out of the way. So just get them done so that I don't have to deal with it anymore. Is that how you want to live? Is that how you want to be? Is that what you want to teach your kids? Because at this point, they're not really listening to what you say. They're looking at and seeing what you do. You're modeling for them how to be an adult, how to set up a year, how to walk into something that's overwhelming and cut off a piece, carve out a piece that's just for you. Like those skills, showing them that they don't have to wear the busyness badge or they don't have to be exhausted all the time because and they don't have to focus on everything that everyone else says is important. Like what a gift it is for them and for you and for you. So with that, I will close this up because I really want you to take that time. When you set your intention for the day, like come and share it. I'm going to put a post on my Facebook page. And what is your intention for this from now until December 21st? What is for this season, this semester, this quarter, for this time frame, whatever you want to call it? What is your intention? You're looking back. What do you want to say about this time? Now, one of the exciting changes that I will share with you, and you're going to see that update coming like over the next week and a half, is one, by the end of the week, I'm going to have a new quiz. Because who doesn't love a quiz on my website? One, it's what joy path are you on? It helps you give like, what joy path are you on? Like, see where you're going, what your intentions are, what's your joy path, and then give you an action step that you can take. So that one is, I've been developing that and writing the questions and outcomes and all of that stuff. So with all of my like over a decade of experience of like intentionally choosing joy, intentionally pouring into the people around me and learning about, well, human nature. So I'm excited about that. And two is this membership that I have that I absolutely love. And I know that this is a direction that God has me going. And I was trying to figure out, okay, what is the intention of it? And how does it help you? Like, why would you want to be part of it? And I should have gotten the verse. But in Matthew, I believe, it talks about how we are a lamp on a hill, that we are supposed to shine so that others can see God's light. We allow Him to shine through us. And that's through our strengths and our unique gifts and our talents and our treasures and our time. So, one of the shifts that I am making is my membership will be called Shine and be the light. Because when we intentionally shine, when we look to see how you don't need to shine the same way that your neighbor shines. You don't need your girlfriend shines, your spouse shines. Like we all have uniqueness in us. God created us specifically for a purpose. And so many people are stuck or numb or like racing through life and they're not seeing how they shine, how they are the light. And so I'm super excited. It's shifting a little bit. And like I said, you'll see it over the next couple of weeks because there's a lot of paperwork and all the things, the URL and all the links and all the things that you don't really see behind the scenes that have to happen in order to make a website or to make that shift. But if you want to learn to be the light and you want small steps every month, like this is the whole point of this is to not overwhelm you. There's so much information out there that it's hard to see what's credible, what works for you, and like clear out the expectations. And so that's what this membership is going to do is give you bite-sized pieces every month and a community of women who are all saying, yes, I know that I am called to shine. I want to shine the brightest that I can and not be in competition with someone else shining, because we know if there's two lights, like right now, I have two lamps. And if I just had one, it would be bright. But with two, it's even brighter. It like everything is covered, right? Is shining, illuminated. So that's what we're going to do in this group is we're going to shine, and then we're going to shine together in small pieces, clearing the clutter, clearing the expectations, removing what doesn't matter. Seeing how God created us individually so that way we can make an impact. That way it feels aligned and it feels like it brings us energy to shine instead of drains us. So I am super excited about that. I do have more things to share. One is the title of the podcast, which will be shifting here in a couple of weeks. I am super excited about that and sharing what that title is going to be, but I'm going to keep you in suspense for a little longer. But I am so excited. I want you to shine. I want you to step into who God's created you to be. And I want you to do it in a way that is unapologetic and that really highlights how God created you to serve. It is not selfish to know how God created you, to honor the gifts that He's given you instead of focusing on the gifts that someone else has and wishing you had those. Because I guarantee that you have some gifts that they wish they had too. But now we get to see and we get to use each other's gifts as well. So it's not a competition, it's a support. It is if we all rise together, and the light that we create is so bright, and there's so much hope and opportunity and love and joy for the world, because we are getting to a place the world needs some hope and opportunity and joy in the Lord. And so anyway, so Discover You is turning into Shine. The Shine membership, Be the Light. And so you'll see that same shifting a little bit inside of it. But those of you who are already in the membership, it's just good. You'll just cross on over. It'll be great. Those of you who want to join, do so. Please, I cannot wait to see you in there. And I just can't. I cannot wait to see you in there. Okay, with that, friend, I will see you next week. Choose joy till joy chooses you. Bye for now.